What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it. Okay, here we are looking at the 1 hour time frame. It does appear that XRP wants to move down a little bit. I'm not just saying that because it's moving down, but if you look at the RSI, you do have some lower highs. You have a high here, lower high, another lower high. That's two lower highs, making 3 peaks total. With a high, a higher high, and a higher high, 2 higher highs, 3 peaks total. That is what you call double bearish divergence. Okay. Likely will trigger the price to go not just below where the divergence started, but likely it probably even goes below here, below these lows here. It's completely possible that XRP could be forming some kind of broadening top pattern, and maybe it does find support down here. It's completely possible that that happens. But at the moment, maybe we should expect that at a minimum. You know, you're at $2.78. Maybe we should expect $2.70, $2.71 at a minimum. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if the price came all the way back down to about $2.60, maybe even down to this line here, right? Either this area of prior resistance for support or this area of prior resistance for support. One of the two. $2.53 to $2.59. Now, I do think XRP, this movement up, I think that it implies bigger things to come. I definitely do. I just think with the readings that we're seeing now, we have bearish divergence on the 4 hour and double bearish on the 1 hour. It would make sense that we pull back to the nearest area to find support at, which would either be at the base of this consolidation range, which would be a very powerful look, to be completely fair, or more likely we probably do pull back to about 260, 253, somewhere in that area, finding support on previous areas of resistance. If we go a little bit below these lines, it's okay, right? We could probably go all the way back down to like 240 and still be fine, or even lower than that and still be fine. But I don't think we go below 253. Okay, so a little bit lower. 4 hour RSI could cool off a little bit. 1 hour RSI, same thing, and they both suggest that. In fact, the 1 hour RSI, likely with this move down, you'll break this uptrend, right? You've been in a nice little uptrend here. Maybe that's not even right. Maybe it's just here from this low to this low. You've been in this for a second now. With this move down, with this double bearish divergence, this could send you down to your oversold zone. And that again, that might lead to a more pronounced correction than what you're seeing here in this consolidation phase. So I think going into the end of this is just on the hour time frame. So a significant correction could be like a day, 2 day. You know, it's not anything crazy. A correction of like this magnitude, for example, at that point right there, if you were to find support there and move up, that would be at Monday. That's the end of this week / beginning of next week, right? You'd be able to start moving up again. So not going to last long at all. However, being that it is the weekend, being that today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, oftentimes cryptos are pretty lackluster on the weekend. It would make total sense that this would be the time to correct. So again, that target area, 260 to 253 is where I think we're going to go. Looking at the daily RSI, it definitely looks like we're getting set up to do bigger and better things. Okay, I just don't think that we're ready yet. Looking at the daily RSI, we are still in a downtrend. It wouldn't necessarily make sense to reject here, other than the fact that you're at the 60. Right, the 60 is a good area to find resistance at. In fact, you found resistance in this area a couple times, right? Resistance right there. You've even found support in this area before. Support right here as well. So it makes sense that you could find resistance here. Yeah, I'm not worried about you not touching that line. We're just going to get rid of that line. Who cares? So you probably find resistance here, find support at the 40. A move like that would likely take you back to about 250 to 260. Yeah, I'm very confident that that's what you do. I want to look at this low to high real quick. Maybe not that low to high. Let's look at this low to high. 260 is the 382. It's very common, you guys, whenever you take a low to high, whenever you draw a fib like this, it's very common to go just below your 382. And that 382 is at 260. So just below your $2.60, $2.53, right? It's all through different metrics, through different scopes, we are seeing the same kind of target area, right? And just very obviously looking at the price, where would it find support? It would make sense that it would find support right here, which is where that's right at about 253, right there at 253, right between 250 and 260 is where it makes sense that we would find support. Looking at the weekly time frame, scoping outside of the little stuff right here, what we have to look forward to is rather miraculous, isn't it? At least I think it is. If we take a relative high here to a relative low, nope, that was not the high. That is the low though. The relative high in April of 2021, last cycle's bull market high, to the bear cycle low that we achieved in June of 2022. This kind of consolidation phase, you guys, I would say 9 out of 10 times it's super bullish and it would lead you to a move that at least takes you here, if not higher. But I think it's more like 10 out of 10 times. It's very, it's completely ordinary and completely common to consolidate like this and see nothing less than your 1618. Likely you see something higher than that, right? It's very uncommon to consolidate like this. It's absurdly uncommon. I can't think of one time where you consolidate like this and then you reject down. It just doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not saying that this is guaranteed, but man, I really like anytime you consolidate right below the 1272 and you don't go below the 100, it's just phenomenal. Like genuinely, your golden extension being a minimum target puts you in a very bullish stance, you guys. A very, very bullish stance to say the least, right? You break above 641, that golden ratio, which I think you will. But if you break above 641, the only thing stopping you, the only thing in your way at that point is the 1886, and that's all the way up at $10.71. Between there, you've got a little range between 1071 and 1332. You know, so something in that area is where I think you're going to go once you break out of this. That move should seem pretty familiar, right? Because if we take this move right from like the low to the high there, and we move that little line, this move over. It's basically the same move that you had here. Now it takes, I've got it drawn in a way that takes a little more time. I don't think that it'll be May that you hit these areas. I think that it'll happen in a shorter amount of time, but from a low to a high, it's kind of the same move that you had here, right? It's kind of the exact same move that you had there, and that's all in all what I'm expecting. So whenever you can get excited about this, the time to get excited about prices moving higher would be pretty obviously once you get above these highs, but also once you get above the 1272 here at $3.31. I want you to understand that by the way of the fibs, just the way that this would go, the rule would be, if there was a rule, that once you close above the 1272, you have immediate access, you're green lighted to the 1618 and beyond, okay? This is on a weekly aspect, so whenever I say immediate access, it could take months, it could take several weeks, right? At the very least, it's not going to happen in one day. It could, you never know, but this move took, this very miraculous move still took from a start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to finish, and even then it continued to grow afterwards. 5 weeks from now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. That put us in the middle of March, end of March, and that's what I'm expecting. I think that the middle of March, end of March, probably at this rate, unless this is the week that we start. If next, I would think this is the week that we start. Maybe even next week. Last week was the week that we start. I don't know, but sometime soon we're really going to be breaking out of the zone here. By the end of the month, I would expect we're breaking out of the zone, and at the same pace, we'd be up here by the middle of March, end of March. But I think it's completely possible, and I want to start offering the perspective that we could, instead of topping off in March at $10 to $13. We could top off sometime in the beginning of April. It could be the beginning of April, maybe the middle of April, but I don't think it'll last that long, right? Then we're talking about multi-month kind of moves from a low to a high, right? April, end of April would put us at 11 bars. The last one was 5. I don't think that it'll be 11. Maybe 10 at the most, and if it were to be double, you know, that does take us to the middle of April. I think it's important to accept this. That way you don't make any poor decisions. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but what if the whole move was like this, okay? That's at the middle, end of April right there, and you think that the move ends at the end of March, so you sell right here, right? It's not the biggest deal. You caught most of the move still, but I don't know, man. Selling at about $7 when you could have gotten it at $11. I mean, you waited all this time. You know, why mess it up now? I really do believe that XRP is going to go to 1071 to 1331. That's the main purpose of this video, you guys. I very much also do believe that, you know, on top of that main purpose is that we are going to correct probably, and I think it'll be the entirety of the weekend. I think over the next day or two, you're probably going to consolidate a little bit. This might actually, if I didn't know any better, this looks like a bull trap. It really does look like a bull trap. If this was a bull trap, you guys, XRP is about to crap the bed, but I don't think that's going to happen. You probably do pull back a little bit. It gives that scare of a bull trap look, but you'll find a higher low. You'll find support at prior areas of resistance back here as well. I didn't draw the straightest line, but you can kind of see what I'm going for, right? If I try straight line, I don't know. Resistance there, support kind of right there, some resistance right there, resistance right there, right? I would think that you probably find support there at about 250 to 260. And then starting next week, we begin moving up again. And then by the end of the month, I would assume if we're not at new all-time highs, we're certainly at least near new all-time highs. And then going into March, it's going to be spectacular. So that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I appreciate you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.